This morning I'm here to launch a very important initiative of Ministry of Education, Heritage and Arts, and this initiative is purely for the teachers. My ministry will be using this platform to engage teachers, and these teachers are all over Fiji. As you know, we've got over 13,000 school teachers, and this is the first time the teachers around different parts of Fiji can communicate with each other, and they can also communicate with the ministry. So the purpose of this Teachers Talanoa Platform is dual in nature. One is to communicate with the ministry. In other words, you communicate with your employer. You communicate with the service provider. Like, for example, the ministry is rolling out curriculum, and therefore teachers will be able to communicate with the ministry in terms of how they are doing with the curriculum, if there is a problem with the curriculum or some changes they want to bring about. So that's one line of communication. The second line is amongst themselves. But my only worry is, whenever we leave an open system, then there is always danger for abuse. But I take it, our teachers are highly educated, they know professionalism, they know the etiquettes of social media, and I hope that they will use this platform in an appropriate manner without creating any controversy amongst each other or with the ministry. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I have said, this official platform is first of its kind. We never had a platform like this before. So that is definitely a plus point for the ministry. Any organization, if you want to do well, you need to communicate with your staff, with your workers, with your employees. And this platform is just going to do that. One of the difficulties we normally see in the education system is the disconnect that we have with the teachers and the staff that work at the ministry. Because the staff at the ministry are not able to deal directly with the teachers in the school. We normally go through the divisional education officers, and so they become the conduit between the two parties. And as you have heard of the broken telephone story, when you have a middleman in between the two parties, often the communication gets distorted. So this platform is going to iron out that issue. In other words, teachers will have a voice. They can talk about innovative educational programs. They can comment on the curriculum. They can share ideas amongst each other. For example, they can share lesson plans. They can share work plan. They can share some of the classroom practices they have just introduced. Or even they can share the difficulties they are facing. After COVID-19 pandemic, we are still going through this period. Once the schools open and the students return to the classroom, there will be a number of issues the teachers have to deal with. Issues such as kids are not in school, or kids are not interested in learning, or kids are facing trauma, other difficulties because the parents are facing that difficulty, maybe financial difficulty or societal difficulty, or whatever you may call it. And the kids are coming from such homes. Now, how are the teachers going to deal with this situation? Right? Because we are all new to COVID-19. So this is an opportunity for teachers to communicate with each other and find the best classroom practices that they can introduce. Maybe some teachers have done some research in that area, or they've got some good ideas that can be implemented, so they can share amongst one another on the platform. And by putting that information on the platform also means that the ministry is able to pick up some of the new initiative or new innovation, or you can call it new ideas that are emerging, right? So it's going to be a very interactive platform. And you may be wondering, so who's going to respond to the teachers? If a teacher posts a comment or an idea or a suggestion or a query, there has to be someone to respond to this. Otherwise, the teachers will lose interest. So to encourage teachers to continuously use this platform and their voices will be heard, we have the head of sections who will be connecting online on a daily basis to see the discussions that's going on. Besides that, we have also appointed a facilitator who will be going through the comments on a daily basis. And if a comment is or a query is not responded to, then surely the facilitator will be contacting the heads of section to ensure that each and every question is responded to. Because this kind of engagement will keep the platform alive and the interest around it. And just like any other new initiative, we are excited about it. As I've said to you, this is the first time ministry is rolling out something of this nature. Often we tend to leave teachers in the classroom where we just give them the curriculum and we expect them to deliver that. That is our basic relationship. But I think we need to go beyond that, where teachers can bring in new ideas to the ministry and say, why don't we consider A, B, C, and D for a change? Because they are the best people who understand the implementation of the curriculum. They understand how the students are behaving in the classroom, or other difficulties with the resources, or anything to do with teaching and learning. Right, so they are in the best situation. But teachers as educators, we all know they're shaping the lives of our children. They play a very, very crucial role, and therefore we need to value our teachers and create this platform for a constructive views to be expressed. So from the ministry's perspective, it is our first attempt. This Teachers Talanoa Platform is our first attempt to create this dynamic informational forum for teachers. And I hope that teachers will enjoy this platform. They can always say hi to one another. Maybe a teacher who moved out from a school in Lambasa and is now teaching in Suva, they can reconnect through this platform. I also want to acknowledge our teachers, and I call them teachers have been our COVID warriors. They have done the hard yards in ensuring that the materials, school materials, or you can call it teaching materials, reach our students. And they have been working around the clock. There are some very inspirational stories that we have read and we have heard, how teachers had to cross rivers and streams and mountains to reach out to the children by spending days out of their homes. And that clearly shows that teaching is a noble profession, and teachers do have very that do have interest for the children that they teach. So we want to maintain that momentum. And I also acknowledge that during COVID-19, many teachers had to switch very quickly to remote teaching. Now, most of them are not well adversed with various digital tools, but overnight they learned. And they must have learned from their children, they must have learned from their friends, but they did learn. And they rolled out the various teaching program through this platform. Some were using Google Drive, Google Classroom, Zoom, even simple emails, Viber messages, Viber groups. And it's a clear indication that a situation like this, when we have a pandemic, it's a critical situation. The teachers do become innovative, and they have embarked into self-learning. And with our assessment of how the curriculums were rolled out and the teaching and learning took place during this COVID-19, our assessment shows that 52% of the secondary schools were learning, the children were learning through online mode. So again, that's a very positive story. And we have also done the assessment just to find out how many students are connected to mobile devices or they have internet connection. And it's quite pleasing to see that over 70% of our secondary school children, they do have some form of mobile device, and most of them are connected to internet, and that's over 70%. So that's a positive sign. So there may be people who are saying that, online learning is not taking place and this and that. But the research shows that yes, online teaching did take place. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also mention what we intend to do for the future. This COVID-19 has definitely taught us that we need to move our teaching through online platform. We cannot be very traditional in our approach, that is through chalk and talk. We need to engage with other creative platforms to reach our children. And that would be something that this ministry is going to work towards, so that come next time, if we do have a third wave or because of any natural disaster, there is no disruption to education. Kids can still continue learning through other modes. So that would be our key emphasis going forward. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I simply want to say that there are a set of guidelines to help teachers to communicate in this forum, and I encourage teachers to take some time to read and follow the protocol so that we can maintain a high level of professionalism and etiquette in our discussion. I want to emphasize that this forum is for internal use only, and it is for our teachers and staff at the ministry. So let us continue to work to achieve our common vision of quality, inclusive and accessible education that will benefit our children across the country. I also take this opportunity to thank the team at ministry for developing this Moodle platform, what we call the Teachers Talanoa Platform. So I thank the team for doing that. It is very important that we should always get the feedback from various stakeholders. This is our first initiative with teachers, but we also want to embark into another platform where the students can connect with ministry as well as the parents can connect with the ministry, because they can also share their views on the delivery of a curriculum in the classroom, or they can make some suggestions. I do expect for the students, they'll be coming on board and basically telling us that they did not get the free data, or they may be complaining about transport transport data. So there can be a lot of other issues that the students might come up with. But all in all, key message is communication. Communication is very crucial. If we want to bring about change in the education system, we need to communicate with all our stakeholders. And all our stakeholders here means our students, parents, and teachers. Right? Along with them, the school management. So with these words, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to launch the Teachers Talanoa Platform today. Vinaka.